Okay, it is Friday, Slops.
It's a Friday, you know what I mean?
And we have an amazing guest on. The very charming and lovely Harvey Guillen is on the show with us today to talk about acting, honey, and musical theater.
And he was the understudy for the Wizard in the Wicked.
In Japan. Get ready for some sing-songing. And we learn about starting your acting hustle at 6 years old.
Mama, picking up cans. And I need to apologize to Bob and Monet. I'm so sorry for what I said. I don't believe it. I thought it would be funny to say.
Here's
Y'all are
the
amazing
other thing.
drag queens.
Yes, of course. Everyone who does drag is an amazing drag queen. That's my stance.
That's not true.
That's going to be my stance, except for all the people you send me Instagram stories of.
I don't do that! Bye!
Forever. Dog.
When your first choice is a big old bus,
Just turn around and boom,
you end up with us.
sloppy seconds. Oh, diva. Our number, that was really delayed. Our number is 213-536-9180. Our email is sloppysecondspod@gmail.com. Now on with the show. Are you ready for some sloppy seconds, you stupid little fucks, you nasty little fucks, you dirty little fucks, you stupid little fucks? I went outside. I went to a party. I'm Big Dipper, and that's Meatball. And welcome back to Sloppy Second with Big Dipper and Meatball. I'd like to begin this episode with a quick statement of 6 words. And they are, Tamisha, Amon, it's coming for you. So the day that, this Tuesday she released a video, and I can't wait to see what it is. I would like to apologize to Bob and Monet. In our last Tuesday episode, I did say that a lot of their outfits on their seasons were shitty. And I would like to rescind that statement and say...
Do you think they listen to this?
No, but I know someone's going to clip it and send it to them, and I know
they
that
don't
Bob
care. They've seen what you look like.
And I've seen what they look like. And what I was going to say was...
Sorry.
I said a lot of their outfits were shitty, and what I wanted to say was just most of them were. Okay, now let's move on.
Oh my God. I'm so excited today to have our guest on. This is someone who I remember the first time I got a DM from you. I was like, wait, what? This person is like on TV all the time. They want to hang out? Like, that's so crazy.
And I remember the first time I met you.
It was a very LA experience for me.
We were at Bullet Bar, a bar that...
On a diaper night? You went on a diaper night?
I don't know. Was it a diaper night or was it just a regular night?
Okay, welcome to your ears, Harvey Guillen.
Hey! Hi.
Hello. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we were just talking, you are currently in Toronto.
Mm-hmm. I'm in Toronto right now.
Toronto, right? They don't do that second T.
Are you living in Toronto now? Because I thought you had just finished What We Do in the Shadows.
I did. I just wrapped Shadows 2 nights ago, and I'm staying here for another gig that starts this week for Amazon. So
okay, so let's get into it because, baby...
Oh, so you will be working at an Amazon shipment center?
Yeah, I'm now I'm delivering packages.
Here's the deal. If you look at your IMDb page, you have been working for well over a decade constantly. If you want to talk about an actor who is working, you are booked, you are series regular, you jump from show to show, you also bit part on other people's show. Like you book and you work and you're constantly on TV, and that is a very amazing thing. But I think what is so wild is like the COVID numbers are crazy in Canada right now, and you're up there like doing a dream job of like being on television, and you're like fully like in an insane lockdown right now, like shut in the apartment. Like they don't have vaccines for young people yet.
We just opened the vaccines to 65 and over here because I think Canada doesn't like have big pharma like America does, and so they were doing really well with numbers, and then all of a sudden the numbers kind of went through the roof. And I have this idea and this theory that like, you can buy the vaccines ahead of time. People bought them like a year ago in bulk and stuff, but some countries don't have the luxury of buying that. Like there's countries that were like, we can't afford to like hopefully buy a vaccine that works on us. So we're going to buy it when everyone else tries it out. So Canada bought like some, but they didn't buy a lot. And I had this theory that they were like best friends with America. And they're like 10 months ago, they're like, America, do you promise to give us some vaccines when you got, of course we will, girl. Like we're in this together, of course.
Girl.
And then like, it's like cut to like present day, Canada's calling America and America's like at the beach. And it's like, hey, it's Canada. Who? Oh, it's Canada. Hold on. What's up? Hey babe, what's up? And it's like, remember those vaccines you promised us? What? I can't hear you. It's Canada. Can I call you back later, babe? I'll call you back,
doing
okay?
a bit.
And literally hangs
And
up.
it just hangs up and it's
And
like,
just hangs
anyway,
up on
another mimosa.
Hey, and they're like, hey, Russia, wait for me.
Oh, yeah.
Girl. Wait, because so many things shoot up in Canada, do you feel like Toronto is like a second home to you?
Well, yeah, I feel like, I did the math and I was right before I shot Shadows in January. We started in January in quarantine. You have to quarantine 14 days. I was in Vancouver for the fall and early winter shooting Zoe's, and I had to quarantine there for 14 days. So I only came back to LA for 2 weeks for Christmas.
Must be nice.
And then,
Well,
yeah,
not,
and then,
Meatball, because they're on lockdown, girl.
They're in lockdown.
The working
so
is nice.
The working is great. Knock on wood. It's like, it's always like great to get work as an actor, and to do that is, a blessing. But like also you can't see your family, they can't come visit you. They won't allow your spouses to visit you. No one can visit you. So you're in an apartment or a house, wherever you're living, and you quarantine for 14 days. And then after that, you go straight to work and you get tested every day through the nose. You can't get to set unless the results from the previous test come in and they say that you're negative. So every other day you got a poking your nose and like, just to make the show, and to make, what we love doing. I think that I'm not a first responder, but the only way I can contribute is like through entertainment. Every time there's like a big crisis in the world, not just in America, we always turn to entertainment. We always turn for an escape every time.
It's
Music.
so true. Okay, but you alluded to this before, but you did the very like theater person set thing of like abbreviated the show. So we're talking about What We Do in the Shadows on FX. We're talking about Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which is on NBC. Yes.
Yeah.
And
well,
the Thundermans.
The Thundermans is over, but that was on Disney Channel, right?
No, that was Nickelodeon.
Oh, Nickelodeon. But didn't you also do stuff on Disney Channel?
I've done stuff on Disney Channel, yeah.
Name a network you haven't been on. That's what actually the better
CBS?
question should be.
Bravo.
This is it.
But I bet you're friends with Andy Cohen.
Yeah, have you met Andy?
I've only met Andy once when we're doing an interview in an
than
elevator.
More than us. Wait,
No, listen. I met him in an elevator, and it was like the day after his announcement that he had a baby, and it was 5:30 in the morning. He was going to do his radio show, and we were there for a radio show too. We're in this elevator in New York City, and he steps into the elevator, and he looks exhausted. He's just like, and I look over him like, congratulations on the baby. He's like, thank you. He just looks like, and that's the only time I met him. We're not best friends. We're not even acquaintances. I just met him in an elevator. So
okay.
I have a question. Speaking of like radio show and interviews, because I saw that you did the late night show with Seth Meyers, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they still do the thing, because it's over Zoom now, do you still have to do those like weird pre-interviews where you basically go over the whole story and everything you're going to talk about in the interview?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty normal. Even if you did it in person, they call you ahead of time because they want to see what you want to promote and talk about and things that are going to be talked about on spot. I was just thinking about that because I was watching this interview where Lindsay Lohan did David Letterman, I think it was.
Oh, he got her!
Yeah, got her. But then that's what she said. This wasn't in the pre-interview. Like she said it out loud. And she's all looking around, looking at her publicist. Like this wasn't in the pre-interview. Because when they pre-interviewed her, they probably didn't mention any of the stuff he was going to do. And then she goes live on the air. And they go, gotcha, and they say
treat people so crazy,
and that might happen. But I mean, for me, it was like, tell us about like your life story. And I talked about my mom, and they were like, we like that. We're going to talk about that. And I was like, sure, okay, sure.
Do you ever get the instinct to throw them for a loop? Because I would just start talking about dicks and butts,
and they wouldn't have you back, Meatball.
I just want to see if the producers be like, stop, please stop, please stop.
I don't even know that they would like record it, or they probably, it's not live. So like they pre-record it. So they probably didn't like what you said. Your segment would be like, please welcome Meatball. Thanks for joining us. And then they would just cut away.
Well, okay, so this is interesting. You've been in the game for a while. I remember this show, Meatball. Do you remember the show Huge on ABC Family with your icon Nikki Blonsky? Meatball.
No,
it was the show about like Fat Camp.
Yeah, it was ABC Family before it became Freeform. We were at the last show. So we were ABC Family, and it was a family-friendly show. It was based on the Sasha Paley book. Winnie Holzman, who wrote the script to Wicked, the musical, wrote it. And I know. And then wrote it with her daughter, Savannah Dooley. And they wrote this great show about kids at weight loss camp. And it was really great. And it had heart. It was ahead of its time. Like if that show came out now, it'd be like a hit. But it came out. Yeah, it came out when it was like, we were the opener to Pretty Little Liars. So it was like Fat Camp, and then like sexy young teen girls who murdered their friend.
Fuck their teachers and shit.
Yeah. And so we weren't right for the vibe. And that's actually, I mean, like this is a tea. The reason they probably changed ABC Family to Freeform is because the shows weren't family friendly. Like they were like, ABC Family is not like a show you want to call Pretty Little Liars. So people were writing letters and saying stuff like, I was watching this show with my family on ABC Family, Pretty Little Liars. Like, but it was also like a really great hit because people love Pretty Little Liars. And so they changed it, I think, to accommodate to like, we have hits on our hands, but we can't call it family
ABC
friendly.
Family.
Yeah.
Well, that, I mean, it just makes me think about like what even the shade, like what the industry was like a decade ago. Like being a queer person, being a fat person, just and social media.
Who's fat?
Who's fat? Who's fat on this call?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I feel attacked.
You're like, this wasn't in the pre-interview.
This wasn't in the pre-interview.
But even 10 years ago, right? Like social media and like whatever, it's like if you check the boxes of you're like, I'm a queer person, I'm a fat person, I have a social media, it's like that starts to speak like money to these bigger entities where they didn't back in the day. That entire show, the idea of like a show called Huge is like, fingers crossed, we're banking on the otherness and hopefully people will do us the favor of watching it. And it's like, now it's like Lizzo, I think, has a show coming out with Amazon that's like the search for the next really dope, pretty fat dancer, like Big Girl Squad or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. And you're right. Like 10 years ago, that wasn't the norm. I remember all the things that, like you said, like, you know, being like brown, round, and proud were all strikes
brown,
against
round,
me.
And proud.
You know, and so there were all strikes against me. I was told that by like teachers at school. They were like, so are you going to lose the weight? And I was like, what's wrong with what the size that I am? Oh, well, it's just like, you're right on the cusp of you could be a leading man or you're going to be like a comic relief and you'll always be like the second hand. Like, it was like, whoa, like the idea was so like foreign to me because I was like, why can't it be both? Like, why can't you have a big person be a lead in a show? And they're like, that's just not the way. We're looking out for you. This Hollywood is the way that it's been forever. And I was like, well, you need to change that. You need to fucking change it, you know? And so 10 years ago, I did go for auditions where like people would be so lazy, they wouldn't give a character a name. It'd be like fat guy number 2. And I was like, this character doesn't have a name. And it's like, he has like several lines. It was laziness because writers saw, you know, characters that were plus size as one note. And they're like, yeah, then the fat guy comes in, as opposed to like now they're more clever and they're like, might have a couple of pounds on him, charismatic, could be boy next door, but also, you know, you know, they're putting these writers to work now because they used to be like fat guy, you know, and that was the only way to describe it. Fat guy. Why do they spell it with extra like you, why?
Like, get in there, Porky. We're gonna have fun today.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then I learned, you know, that like all the strikes against me were all the things that made me who I am. So they were all, you know, my strengths. So no one's coming in that door like I am. No one's looking like I am. No one's talking like I am. So I am that brand. This is what I'm selling. You like this cup of tea, and if you don't, someone else down, you know, the street will drink it up.
Exactly. So you were talking about being in school. Like, did you go to college for acting?
Yeah, I went. So I was going to be a Shakespearean actor.
Ooh, okay.
I know, real thespian. You know, I said thespian. And where I got to Southern Utah University and they gave me the scholarship and I just didn't like it. I got there and I did on like the preview week and I went for the preview week and I was like, I'm not vibing. I stood out like a sore thumb. Everyone there they were lovely, but they were all from the nearby town. They were all Mormon. They were all Caucasian.
Southern
and
Utah
so University in Cedar City. And I literally, they were so lovely, but I just felt like I was a walking attraction. Like I was just like this weird, like, you know, Latinx, like big kid who was openly queer. And they were like,
needed
wow,
the diversity.
Well, good for you. You know, and it was that idea was like, oh, I felt a little bit like weird. So I left and I went back to LA. And I just wanted to get like, you know, my general stuff out of the way. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go to my friend's college in Citrus. And it was a community college. And they had this really great theater program that I looked up and I was like, okay, I'm going to take classes with the best theater teacher there. And they wouldn't let me take the theater class because it was reserved for a choir called the Citrus Singers. Now, these were like hoity-toity, like upscale, like choir that travel around the world. They have to audition to get in. It was like American Idol, but for college kids. And I was just like, well, I want to just take that one acting class. And like, well, we can't because you have to join Citrus Singers. And I was like, well, then I'll fucking join it. And they're like, and they're like, we already had auditions and we have all the boys we need. And I was like, well, then why'd you bring it up? And then, so I was so angry.
The song right there?
I kind of, because I went to see the dean, and the dean was for Citrus College, or for Citrus Singer, sorry. And he was like, well, we already got all the guys. It was Ben Bollinger, who was a big opera singer in the 50s, and he started the program. And I was like, well, I need to join this class. And they're like, you already got all the boys. Sorry, bud. You could try next year. I was like, I'm not trying next year. If I don't get in this year, I'm not going to come back next year. And he's like, oh, hold on. And he played the piano. And he's like, well, all right, you're a first tenor. Tell Ellie you start Monday. So I was like, yes, I'm in. And I went to the front and I was like, I'm starting the class that I wanted. So the acting class and then the stupid choir thing. And they're like, oh no, you're a Citrus Singer now. Here's your new schedule. And I was like, there's 56 units in this. And the average college student takes about like 28 to 32 units a semester. I had 56. And I was like, whoa, there's a mistake. A choir class and a drama class. That's all I need. No, as a Citrus Singer, you take tap, jazz, ballet, private lessons, musical theater history, everything. It was a conservatory. So I got thrown into classes from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. And
all you wanted to do was take
one.
I wanted to do make-believe.
I just wanted to make-believe, mama. And so I was like,
that's
you know
crazy.
What? Forget it. I'll do it. I can't, you know, and also I was on full scholarship. I was like, I'm not paying for this. So I was like, okay. And so I did it. And I thought it was the best thing I could have ever done because it really does teach you one thing. It's discipline. It's like, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you know, you're hired. And if you're late, you're fired. Mm-hmm. And like the idea was that like that momentum of like, you know, this is how it's going to be in the real world. And then when you're done, they throw you out and they don't tell you how to get an agent or a manager or anything. Nope. So after you do your years, and also there was this like, you know, hierarchy, like you couldn't get a lead if you're a freshman, which I thought was so stupid because in the real world, no one cares if you're 19 or 29. If you're the best person for the role.
Right. Or if you went to acting school, they don't care either.
They really don't care.
They really don't care. They really don't. And I literally remember being a freshman and auditioning against a third year. And I was like, I got this in the bag. I mean, I was tooting my own horn, but I had training since I was like, you know, in elementary, I took, you know, musical theater class and all that. So I was like, I got this in the bag. And then I didn't get it. Like when we were doing the Christmas show and the cast list went up and it was like, the one part I wanted was like Jack Frost, which had like 2 numbers and like all this great. It went to this guy who was a third year. And I looked down the casting list, like, well, where am I playing? It says, I play Cupid. Oh my God, like the lovable, you know, like he must have some songs, like no Cupid, like the reindeer.
I immediately was like,
you know,
yes, a sweet little
dancer and prancer and vixen.
Not even in the top 4 right there.
Comet and there he is.
You go. You come in 7th.
Cupid and
wait, you know what is so funny?
That just triggered me because I didn't know their names. I forgot that they had names.
There's a whole song about them people. You know what is so funny is that you literally are on TV for like so many years now and you still remember the minutia of the feeling. Like I think that all sticks with us. Like I remember shit from children's theater that I did when I was like 9 or 10 years old.
Didn't you freeze up and leave?
Me?
Yeah.
No, the story goes. I was meant to be the lion in The Wizard of Oz, and I basically had what I would now consider a panic attack before our final dress rehearsal at 8 years old. And my mother was like, I was sitting in the costume, crying, hyperventilating. She was like, well, let's leave. I was like, what? She was like, this doesn't matter. It is a community theater production of The Wizard of Oz.
For your
And
mom.
and I was like,
No.
you want to leave?
No,
I have
good
a
for your
response.
mom.
No, absolutely not. If my child freezes up, I said, you wanted to be here, you're going to do it, you little
No,
fag.
No,
Meatball,
good for your
you're just being
mom.
contrarian because you would be that bitch who's like, let's go get froyo. But what and I agree, good
Well,
for my
you didn't-
mom
I didn't know
because
you got froyo.
No one said anything about froyo.
by saying out loud, this doesn't matter, we can completely leave. It was like, in a pressure cooker when you do the release valve and all the steam come out. She just made it completely unimportant, and I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, cool. Now I'll just have fun. So then I stayed and actually did it. So it was
Reverse
good
psychology.
parenting.
You
That's
should do
right.
reverse psychology.
That's
Yeah.
right.
No,
Good
my
on
mom
her.
would have been like, pick your little ass up, faggot. You're going to dance, sing, and you're going to like it.
Well, let's talk more about Nikki's good parenting when we get back after this break.
She ruined me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, something about me. I love shopping. If you love shopping too, you have to check out Rakuten.
And all you have to do is shop, 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 shop. And with Rakuten, you get cash back and rewards on almost everything you buy.
Exactly. Homeware, daily essentials, jeans. We're talking eBay, CVS, and even Levi's.
Ooh, so I can buy a vintage couch, tons of paper towels, and grab a new pair of jeans and still get cash back.
And that's not all. You can even stack those rewards on top of sales and coupons.
But Big Dipper, how does this magic work?
Well, I'll tell you. Rakuten is paid by partner stores to send them shoppers, and then Rakuten passes on some of that money to you, the member.
Rakuten is so real for that.
Plus, Rakuten has 17 million members who are already saving. Don't you want to become one of them?
Join for free at Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app and start saving money now.
That's Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app today. We all have days when we want to eat well, but just don't have the time or the energy to plan, shop, and cook.
That's exactly where Factor comes in. They deliver fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs right to your door.
With Factor, you can stay on track with your nutrition goals, whether that's high protein, balanced meals, or overall wellness, without any extra effort.
The meals are fresh, never frozen, and ready in just 2 minutes, which makes it easy to fit into your routine.
I love coming home after a long day and having a tasty and filling Factor meal. It's waiting for me, and I don't have to worry about shopping. It's quick and easy, and one less thing I need to think about when I get home.
I'm feral for fish right now, and I always get my fix with Factor. I recently had their scampi-styled shrimp and salmon, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint.
So get Factor today and start enjoying delicious and nutritious meals.
Head to factormeals.com/sloppyseconds50 off and use code sloppyseconds50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only, while supplies last until September 27th, 26. See website for more details.
That's factormeals.com/sloppyseconds50, like the number, off. Sloppy Seconds 50 off. Do you want to improve your sleep? Well, listen up and get a Helix.
Whether you sleep on your side, your back, your stomach, Helix makes premium mattresses that are designed to fit your specific sleep style.
Now that it's spring, why not upgrade your sleep game and get a Helix mattress?
And you know what?
What?
I can guarantee you that they have a mattress for you with over 20 different styles and models for you to sleep on. I love sleep. I can't get enough of it.
And I love my Helix mattress. So ever since I got the big and tall, I know we go on and on about it, but it's a perfect fit for me. I haven't had a mattress before that I was able to select a model from, and I'm so happy I got to do that with Helix.
And I, too, have the big and tall model, and it's perfect for my big and tall body. I loved it so much, I got a second one from a guest room.
True.
Yes, baby. And the people are sleeping great in there when they eventually do sleep in there.
Best of all, Helix delivers right to your door with free shipping in the US, and you can get a 120-night sleep trial to make sure that it's right for you.
You also get peace of mind because Helix mattresses are backed by a limited lifetime warranty and have been recognized by experts at places like Forbes and Wired. And me. I am a sleep expert too.
Period. Go to helixsleep.com/sloppy to get up to 27% off site-wide during their Memorial Day sale.
That's helixsleep.com/sloppy, and make sure you enter sloppy seconds after checkout so that they know that we sent you.
helixsleep.com/sloppy.
Get yourself a Helix. And now we're back from the break. And earlier we made mention of a little musical called Wicked, and I was wondering, do you know Wicked?
Do I know Wicked?
Do you know Wicked?
Oh, absolutely know Wicked. I had to understudy the wizard in Japan for Wicked.
Girl.
Here's okay, ready? Are you ready for
Give
this?
it to me.
We want to hear.
So fresh out of college, actually, after I finished Citrus, and I was gonna continue my education. I was like, I'm gonna go to AMDA, and then I went to AMDA, and it was the same things I learned at Citrus, but for a lot more expensive bill. And I was like, I'm not paying for this. So I did like one semester, and they tell you don't audition while you're here because you're not ready. And I was like, what if you're ready? Wouldn't you book it? So I auditioned while I was there because they told me not to, and I booked Universal Studios Japan in Osaka, Japan, which is a theme park that does musicals. And they have the rights to Wicked, Sesame Street, Blues Brothers. So anyways, I auditioned, got the part.
Sesame Street the musical?
It's like a kids show. It's a variety show where like all the, in Japan, it's where the Americans meet the Japanese and become friends. And like, it's like two representatives from each, like, yeah, it's great.
Who were you in that?
So I was the American. I was the teenage boy. I was literally playing 13 because that was their age, whatever. But we're obviously not 13, but we looked pretty young. So I went from playing 13 in that role to playing John Belushi in Blues Brothers in like 32 to playing the wizard understudy with the white wig with wrinkle makeup, like a 59-year-old or something. It was just like the trajectory of a one contract season at Universal.
But also, you have the range, you know?
I had the range. And so to this day, when I hear Wicked music, like I had to sing the wizard song, I can't not sing it in Japanese. So like I literally had to do the show.
We gotta hear it.
Okay, ready? Here we go. C flat, please. I am a sentimental man. Kokoro yasashii hotoko sa. Dakara hitsumo jibu no best o shukushitai to omou. So alphaba omae no chikara do. So date de kataku tobita tasetai mihinai tobu chansu. For I am a sentimental man.
Oh my God. Wait, okay. Did you learn Japanese or did you just learn all the songs like phonetically?
I knew I was moving to Japan, but in my stupid, young adolescent self, I was like, well, it's an American show, so it's going to be in English. And I got them, like, here's your script. And I was like, ooh, sorry, I got the directors. This is in Japanese. And they're like, hi, Dozo, like, go ahead. We open in 2 weeks. And I was like, what? And so so this is how I was like, be professional, Harvey, pull your big boy pants up. Like, this is what it takes in the real world. So I was like, oh my God, freaking out. Like I had 2 weeks to learn all my lines. And also phonetically learning them was fine. And the music was fine because it's connected to a note, but also not knowing what you're saying because I would be written out for you. But I was like, okay, so I say, Sesame Street no Koko Wakinita. What am I saying? And they were like, well, it's like saying like everyone have good time, joy for good everyone.
Yeah. Joy for good, everyone.
So you had no idea what the inflection was.
Yeah, so I didn't know where. I knew what they were like. Where like it's a good time, we're having a good time, but I didn't know where to put the inflection and where it was like, So as great as the translation was, because it was some of it was just literal translated, but I was like, whoa, this is a little bit out of order. Like I would have to probably flip it around like this if I were to try. It was a little chaotic, but the people were lovely and so patient with me. They were just like, you got it, you'll get it. And I did. And it was all because of the people from Japan. Like they're the nicest people I've ever like met in the world, like from any country I visited. It's like the patience was remarkable. So I learned it. I learned it all, like sounding out phonetically and reading it out loud and knowing what I'm saying and how to attach it. It was fine. And it wasn't like we were doing Shakespeare. It was like musicals, so that would have been a whole different story. But yeah.
It's so wild to think about, like being able to throw yourself into so many different projects, like, like back to back to back, and doing all of these different TV shows. Like, are you able to really be in the moment, like with the, or I guess Mike, I'm trying to figure out what my question is. My question is, when you're doing theater, you like build it up and then you do it night after night after night. But when you're filming a TV show, you sort of like rehearse it and you get it. But like you might only do I guess you probably do more than 3 or 4 takes of something, but then Sometimes. It disappears and you're done.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're able to like do you give the same amount of commitment in both those spaces?
Absolutely. I always say I would never put anything out that I with 150% behind it, even if it was a 99-seater or for millions and millions of views. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me because my name's going to be attached to it. So even if in the past, because sometimes you got to pay the bills. So you take on that, like, horror film or whatever film that you were like, oh, it's like, but you know what? If you look at that film, you're never going to say Harvey was bad in it. You might say the concept wasn't great, or you might say overall, but you say, but you know who was good in that? That person. And that's my goal, is that it doesn't matter what project I do. The goal is that what I put in that project is always my best. And so if the project itself falls apart, my performance didn't. And so that's my goal always, every time.
I held that project up with my performance. I ran into that mini mall with the chainsaw, and that was the moment.
But it's hard sometimes too, because it's different in stage. You know what the storyline's going from A, B, and C, like all the way through. When you shoot in TV and film, you sometimes cross shoot, which means that we shoot out of order. And so you don't start the movie in the beginning and end with the end. The first thing you shot might have been the ending, so you have to so remember where you're at mentally and how you got here and how you would feel. But remember this, So when we do our show, we cross shoot a lot. So that means in one day we shoot episode 301, which is the first episode of the season, and also 306 and also 309 in one day.
Because of the location.
That's
the location, the guest stars that we need to get on that day, because we only have a day with them. And so sometimes you're all over the place. Your attitude changes because it starts off like where Guillermo's trajectory was like for the beginning of the season, where we left off, and now we're ending with it. So sometimes it's a little like schizo, because sometimes you're like doing and you're like so submissive, and like the first scene, like, oh, now we're 4 episodes ahead. He's gotten a little more ballsy. He's like a little more rough around the edges, or whatever the choice might be for that episode.
And
that is so insane. But so for like a 3-camera setup show, they write it as it's going along, don't they?
Well, for 3-cam, when I was like for Thundermans, it's like the I Love Lucy show. It's live studio audience, which I love because it's the closest thing to theater. Like when you do 3-cam and live audience, you hear the instant rapport. When a joke is funny, you'll hear it. And if it's not, there's nothing there. So you're like moving on. And so the jokes land right there. With film and with television that doesn't have live cam, 3-cam, you don't know until the product comes out, and it's at the mercy of the editors' hands. So like you might look back like, oh, I hope they picked that. They didn't pick the fucking scene that I want. And then people are like, what was up with that scene? I was like, I don't control the
editing. I guess my job is like when you're my question is, when you're cross shooting, who do you like? Is it an executive producer or a showrunner, or like the episode directors who really help you place yourself in the full season arc, or is that really your job?
It's
like, do you read the whole season before you guys start?
No, sometimes. So we've just gone to the point where even when you're part of a team, they're so secretive. It's like it's like your family keeping a secret from you, and you're upstairs and you come downstairs and everyone's like, hey, how's it going? I was like, hey, what were you guys talking about? And it's like, nothing.
Oh,
they're like,
and it's
that's
okay.
nerve-wracking.
No. And it's like, were you guys talking about me behind your back? And it's like, no, stop. You're so paranoid. How do you feel about jumping out of windows? What? And it's like, yeah, just in case, how do you feel about jumping out of windows? Like,
you said, how do you feel about hiring a stunt double?
So for the first year, I felt like, I would like, especially for Guillermo because he's the only human in the show. So he actually has to go through emotions. The vampires only think about lust and blood, and that's it. You know, like their goals are pretty simple. Like it's like having a good time because they're immortal. They live forever, so they don't worry about people's feelings. They don't worry about dying because aside from getting a stake through the heart, you're not gonna die. You're gonna live forever. But a human does, and so like my fear in Guillermo is always that any minute he could die by the hands of these vampires or by accidental taking care of them, whatever. The first season, they didn't tell me anything. Like they kept it such a secret till the very end of, we were shooting the last episode, and that's when they told me, and we got the script pretty much for the last episode the week of. And I was like, whoa, he's a Van Helsing? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And they're like, yeah, so what's going to happen next season? We can't tell you.
Oh, how dare they?
And they don't tell me anything until even this season, we were like, can we please, we're on the same team. Like, I don't want to come downstairs, and find out that, something is being talked about. Like, just tell us. And like, okay, we will. So they did tell us, but there was almost cryptic. Like some episodes were not finished and not completed. And they're like, who am I going to tell? You think I'm going to go tell TMZ what the next story is? Who am I going to tell? I'm trying to make the show better. But they're really like, just to be safe, you can't tell the actors who are going to play the characters and bring the dynamic and trajectory of this character
what they're doing.
That's
just to be safe.
So crazy.
Just to be safe.
You guys shoot at night a lot, huh?
We used to shoot at night the first season, and we learned our lesson. None of us had ever lived in Toronto. None of us knew that shooting here in the winter is not the best idea. And so we had a lot of outside scenes, and we learned and paid the price. Like we had the vampires flying on wires, and it was the windiest day of the year.
Oh my god!
So those vampires were just intertwining, hitting walls. The mic was getting like lost in all the wind blowing. So there was a lot of time. We learned our lesson. So it was second season. We built a set. We used to use the exterior of us for the house, and it got sold. We had 3 houses for the show. We had the first one in the pilot, which is an actual house in Pasadena that you could actually visit. The second one was an abandoned pretty much mansion that we rented from the city, but they sold it to make it into, I think it was like a women's shelter, which is great. So we couldn't use that location anymore. So we had to build the mansion exterior from pictures that we've used.
Oh my goodness.
We built it from the floor up, and now it's a living piece of art. Like it's there. When we wrap, it's still there. Like they rent the lot. So all year round, you could drive by it. It's right on the street. So you could just film like, is that the house? At least the exterior is.
That's the Superstore exterior in Burbank.
They just tore down.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wrapped. Yeah. So that's pretty much, we shoot indoors now. We've learned to do that because our schedule was kind of fucked up. Like I remember
Vampiric.
I
guess I stay up all night now.
My roommate was Casey Diedrich, who's doing a show here called In the Dark for the CW. And we became friends because we shot Eye Candy in New York together. So he's like, hey, we should be roommates. I was like, okay. So he got this like amazing house. It was all glass and beautiful. And I was like, this is great. Didn't think it through. So I get home at 6 a.m. He'd be going to work. So when I was coming home, he'd be leaving. And I was like, time for night. And then the sun would be beaming. There was no blinds because the way the house was designed, it couldn't hold blinds up.
Sounds rich to me.
I couldn't
wealthy
sleep.
Of you.
Yeah,
he picked the house. And I was like, I'll room with you. Yeah, like, and then we're sharing the bill. But still, sleeping for the first couple of weeks, I was like losing it because I couldn't sleep. I would go home and the sun was coming down. I was like, just bloodshot eyes. I had been up all night filming. I couldn't sleep during the day and I had to go to work in 8 hours. And so the first couple of weeks were a thing. Yeah.
That's so crazy. Well, you had mentioned, I want to go back because you had mentioned that you were doing musical theater when you were like in high school, elementary school. What got you into acting? Because like you're so deep in it now. What was like your first inspiration?
This is so funny. I just recently talked about this. I fell in love with acting when I was watching Annie when I was 6 years old.
And you said, someone better get me a red wig.
You said the sun will come out.
Coming out tomorrow. But I was watching the show and, I came from, at that time, single parent, immigrant, hardworking. She was working like 3 jobs just to keep, the roof over her head. And I remember watching that show and I never saw anyone who I could identify with because there wasn't chubby, like brown kids on TV. And if they were like the butt of the joke, So the only thing I saw was like these poor kids. And I was like, we're poor. And I was like, they're singing and dancing on television. I couldn't put it together. I was like, Mom, I want to do that. I was like, Mom, I want to be like them. I want to be an orphan.
Oh no, your poor
And
mom.
she looked at me weird. She was like, ¿Qué? ¿Estás loco? And I was like, are you crazy? And I was like, no, I want to be an orphan like them. It's like, oh, no, son actores. They're actors. I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. And she goes, no, es para niños ricos. That's for rich kids. And I was like,
Oh,
I was like, you
wow.
have to be rich to play poor on television? And she explained to me, she's like, no, what I mean is you have to get training. You have to get like someone, who coach you. They have coaching, I'm sure. People like teach them how to dance and sing and act, and that costs money. And I was like, well, can I take those classes? Like, no, we don't have money for that. And I was like, I was so defeated. And I could have been like a turning point in my life because I was only 6, but I was so stubborn as a kid that I was just like, well, if I find the money, can I take classes? And she goes, Mijo, if you can find your own way, you can do whatever you want.
How
And
inspirational.
I was like, then I will. And she's like, okay, pues. And it's like, then you do it. And she told me that. And from that day on, I remember I was like, I'm 6 years old. How do I fucking make money? I have no like income. There's no such thing as like allowance in like a Mexican household. Like you don't get an allowance for cleaning your room. That's your job. And if you don't clean the room, you better go get me the chancla, And it's just like, it was just like the idea that 6 years old, I was like, how am I going to get money? And I found a fellow thespian at school who was like, they're doing an improv class at the community center. And I'm going to ask my parents. And it was like $12.50. She asked her parents, they give her 20. I asked my mom, she gave me a look and she was like, "Estás loco?" And it's like, we need that money for like the laundromat, whatever. And I said, fuck, how am I going to make this money? So I was like walking home from school with her one day and I said, Mom, what is that guy doing? He's like going through the trash and he looked homeless. He said, oh, vende los botes. He sells the cans. I was like, you make money from trash? She goes, vende los botes. And she's like, I ran into her closet, got a wire hanger, unhooked it into a long skinny finger, got a plastic like grocery bag and went through trash cans and collected enough to pay for my first improv class.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's incredible.
So when people say
now you sleep in glass houses.
Now I sleep in glass
now
houses.
rich as hell.
Wait, no, I'm curious about this because you're so established in the industry that I'm sure you've gone to like very fancy parties and award shows and like Hollywood type things. And
who's secretly gay?
Okay.
You know what's a funny
Meatball's question first, and then I'll say mine.
I love the and that's the job as the artist where like it makes it seem seamless. People are like, oh, you've been doing this for a long time, but no one knows those stories. No one knows about me going through trash cans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when people say, I think it's funny when they always like say, oh, you're so great. And it's like, I just learned about you this week. You're an overnight success. Overnight.
Like, bitch, I was taking
like
bottles out of
15 years.
Overnight. I was like, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's like, so it's always funny because people will meet you at different states of their lives, To someone you're a brand new face, and to someone you're like, oh my God, who is that? They're gonna be big. They're gonna do it. I can trust me. I know they're gonna be, trust me. I have this thing where I can tell. And I was like, good for you. Yeah. It's just like, yeah. And it's like, the idea is like, your job is to make it less seamless. Your job is to entertain and make people escape for a second. So like when they think whatever they think, if they like the product, then you let them like the product and whatever backstory they tell themselves, and that's fine because I know my story, and like they can tell whatever story they want, and that's fine. But to answer your question, who's secretly gay?
Yeah, I was like, you really curved Meatball's question. She wants to know who's gay.
I was just kidding. You don't have to answer. We can save that for off the air.
My question was, you have this sort of level of notoriety where you're like on the invite list, but you can also like walk out and not be bothered by people, which I think is like a really cool thing, especially from all of these stories that you've told us. Like, you clearly like to work.
Yeah,
I do.
You're not like, I want to do some flash in the pan thing to get 1 million followers and then make as much money as possible and just like do that. It's like, you want to do it to be an entertainer and to work. And I think there's a difference between like, recognizable faces from entertainment over the years and like celebrity. But I'm sure you've been in the room with a lot of wild and crazy people. And I'm curious, maybe even not without naming names, but like Meatball, has been to 1 or 2 private events, hired to be a drag queen, and seen some wild things from celebrities.
Some of the celebrities left to their own devices around a bunch of other celebrities act up. It's insane.
Do you have any like wild stories?
I do. I mean, without naming any names, I was filming a movie in Atlanta, Georgia, and the leads of our movie were friends with
Nicole
musicians.
Page Brooks from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
They were friends with
exactly.
her. No, just kidding.
No, and we were invited back after the rap party to come to this musician's house. And we're like, okay, cool, let's go. And we get there and we're like, oh my God, it's gonna be so fun. And this is the cast, and it's a pretty young cast, you know. The cast was like Dylan O'Brien, like, you know, all of us are pretty young and starting off and doing stuff. So we show up to like, we're gonna go through the after party. And then we show up to this base, like the entrance of the house, and that's like a basement entrance. And I was like, oh, there's a basement entrance. So guess we'll go through here. And this guy welcomes us at the door, and he's like, this big bouncer guys are like, oh, okay, you guys, this is for you. And he hands us a stack of ones, $1,000 in ones. And we're like, oh, that's very generous. But it's like, it's full of strippers. And I was like, oh, what? And then with the doors open, and these like two beautiful, just not even strippers because they were fully naked, they're just naked, walk towards us. And I was like, oh my God, the basement is a strip. It's turned into someone's
At
personal,
that person's house.
At that person's house. And so it was a strip joint at this person's house. And I was just like, what is happening? And these girls couldn't have been nicer. They were beautiful. And they're just like, the stuff that strippers do in Atlanta is it's another level. Olympic level.
But you know what's
level.
crazy is that, you know, he gave you that $1,000 and then you give it to the strippers, but they have to give a cut to the guy again. So it's basically just circulating the money, right?
I mean, I think it was more.
You don't know what the situation
is. I'm just kidding. But what if he charged them to work there? Okay.
Right. I think it was just like, it was the party favor was like, here's the money. So everyone was just like making it rain. And like, at first I was like, oh, this feels like, you know, cause is it okay? Because but the strippers were like, oh yeah, we work for him all the time. And it's like, oh, okay. And then it's just like, I guess there's a thing that was one of the wildest parties.
That's so crazy.
I love
it. Was
that.
crazy. It was crazy. And that was just like, and it kept going. Like, you know, that's like the next morning, it's like, who wants to go on the boat? And it's like, I think I'm gonna go home. Like, it's just like the
boat is made out of strippers. It's just like, okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, we are
and
back.
We're back.
Before we get
Did that
into
take you
this,
back to Wicked?
That did. That note. It took me.
Before we get into our final segment, this is sort of walking us up to the what do they call that? A door? A trap door? No. What do they call it in a castle when the door comes down?
The moat.
But
Bridge?
you cross the moat on the bridge, and then the door. What kind of door is that? It has
Drawbridge.
A
The
drawbridge.
drawbridge, yeah.
The drawbridge. Okay. Anyways,
Why are we walking up to a drawbridge?
I want to know about Meatball alluded to it, but now that we're in the telling of tales, secret gay Hollywood parties. Have you been to any secret gay Hollywood parties?
Do they exist?
I haven't been to like I've been to a party where there was definitely people there who were in the entertainment industry who are perceived a certain way, and that party was a queer party, and certain people in that group have an image that they couldn't not at that moment. I'm happy to report that some have since that party come out, but at that moment you're like, oh, everyone here's pretty much in the queer world except whoa, and then you put two together, and then but it's also everyone's journey's different, and the idea that, you know, they should come out, now it's like whenever they're ready to come out, it's when they come out.
Yeah, we're not looking to out any people. There's always like the, you know, there's always that fucking like Aaron Shock person who's just like an evil fucking villain to the queer community, and then when they come out, they're like celebrated because they have a 6-pack abs, and you just want to push them off the drawbridge. You know what I'm saying? Drawbridge.
There's like a double standard, isn't it? Like, it's like that is a good point where, like, if someone does something or comes out or they do something bad, but they have a traditional Adonis physique in the queer community, it's more forgiven. Yep. And that kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and not in a good way, because it's just like, this is like, that's not fair. You know, it's like all of a sudden, if someone put like a meme or something where it's like someone asking you like, or saying, hey, that looks really good on you. It's flirting because it's a really good looking guy. And they change the picture and it's this guy who looks disheveled. He's a little bit like an average looking guy. Hey, that really looks good. Leave me alone. That's sexual harassment. It's like the idea.
Very much that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very much like the same sentence was said from both parties, but you take it one way because it's like, ooh, flirty flirts a lot.
That happens in like rom-coms all the time. It's like someone has their back and someone will be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And they turn around. And if the person is cute, it's like love. That's a meet cute. It's a love connection.
Yeah. But if the person is not traditional, good looking, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hold your horses. You know, it's like, it's so bad.
Speaking of holding your horses.
Do you ever get chasers? The gay chasers?
Yeah.
The big boys.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's this weird.
I think we've had this conversation before. You like opposite body types, right?
I like all body types, and I know that throws people off.
Don't try to get him. Don't try to get him.
No, we had a conversation on how I do get approached by chasers a lot, but I always find a way to like figure out if it's like, because it's a borderline fetish idea, you know, the idea that someone's chasing you is for your looks alone. It's like, oh, that's so cute, but it's not cute if it's something that you sexualize and it's fetish, you know, because it's like, oh, so this is more of your thing of like, I want to be able to connect with someone physically and mentally at whatever shape they're coming in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've dated people who are tall and thin, short and stout, because I genuinely do like believe that I fall through that first layer. And then after that, it's like, this isn't a fetish. This isn't a fetish. It's a connection. But I do like snoop out the people who are completely into just like that. I'm just chasing you because you're big, you know, and it's like, whoa.
How do you snoop them out?
I snoop them out because there's conversations that can be had. And it's like, once they start introducing like it's like, I love just like hanging out, you know, eating Twinkies and stuff. And it's like, okay. And it's like cool. It's like, and it's like a feeder. And you're like, whoa. It's like, that's a flag, you know, or conversations that like, when you start talking like, oh, so who did you used to date or how? It's like, oh yeah, no, it's always been, I used to date girls. And then I was like, no, I'm totally into like just big. And it's like, oh, so
you wanted titties either way.
Now, yeah. But like the idea that it's like a fetish is it's scary because there's a lot of guys out there who are big guys and they think that the love they deserve is the love that's presented to them. And so there's a lot of relationships that are toxic and not healthy because there's a lot of guys who have low self-esteem. And so I meet a lot of those guys and they're like, oh man, I always like, you know, the way you dress or something. I wish I had that confidence. I was like, you do have that confidence. You can get it out of you. Like, get it out. No, my boyfriend wouldn't like that. And it's like,
girl, I'll ring the alarm.
Yeah. And it's like, once those conversations happen, it's because we are told by society that if you're big, you're not going to find love. If you're big, no one's going to desire you. If you're big, you're not sexual, you know, you're not going to be sexual. You're not sexy. And that needs to change. And that can't change overnight. It's like, we're slowly changing it, but people of size, it's like, you can't allow society to keep telling you your value by the size that you are. We can't allow that.
I hate that the way that they now represent like plus size male models is still just like a beefier regular body type. Like, I was like, where is the shirt that will cover my gut and like not be super baggy on my shoulders? I just need some bigger space down here.
Yeah. Like I remember, you know, because my weight's got like up and down, like fluctuate all the time. And I used to be bigger and I was working still. Like when I was doing the internship, I was like way bigger. I think it was my biggest. And after I was like unhealthy and I was like borderline diabetic. And it was like, okay, you got to cut it down in the sweets and blah, blah, and change your lifestyle just so you can get to that, like not about to die line. And so I was like, just tone it down. Not about to die. I don't care. I don't want to be paper thin. I just don't want to die right tomorrow. You know what I mean? So just like bring it down a bit. And so I brought it down. And the second I did, I got approached to be like a plus size model. They're like, how would you like to? I was like, oh, did you guys just discover me? No, we've noticed you, but now you could do plus size.
Now you're ready to model. Wow.
So and only in this industry would you have to lose weight to be a plus size model.
That's so insane.
Insane. But that's the world we live in.
This is my issue with chasers. They have more energy than I do when we have sex. I get tired too fast and they're all like in shape, 6-pack ab, whatever, and they want to run laps around the room and I'm like, I don't have that kind of stamina.
They want to roly-poly all over the place.
I'm like, if you want the body, you got to sign up for the experience, which is a lot of resting. A lot of resting, a
lot of sweating,
a lot of give me a second, a lot of let me take a little snooze in between this so I can recoup my full body energy.
A lot of shoot it on my face. I'll lay here.
Yeah, don't try to be acrobatic with me. This mattress is comfortable. It's not a
It's
platform.
it's a Helix
It's
Plus.
a Helix Plus, honey. I sink into this mattress. I can't stand up and do a handstand, wrap my legs around whatever you want. Like, take a time to assess the reality of the situation.
All right.
Know the audience. Know
Your audience. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't know me so well to like bring, Popeyes over, but just know me well enough to not expect too much.
Is it weird that I would be okay with that if, like, every time they came over, it was Popeyes? The one way I track people, if they're in my inbox, is that I'll just go through if it's on Twitter, I'll just go through their likes to see what they've been liking. Or if it's on Instagram, I'll just go through and see who they follow. And so a lot of times I'm like, oh, they just follow a bunch of drag queens. So it's just like they're only here to talk to me about drag stuff. But if it's like they only follow a bunch of bears, I'm like, oh, you're here to try to suck on my D.
That's strategic. I never thought about that.
Mama, I love strategery.
Wait.
That's very good.
All I like on Twitter is like disgusting porn.
Yeah, people can see that. That's why people have side accounts.
That's why you've been getting all those DMs.
Okay.
But you know what's funny? When I first, honestly, when I first met Dipper, like literally, I saw like a music video. I was like, yes, because there was no one doing, and still
no one as fat as you were doing anything.
No one doing what he's doing, and so I was like, oh my god, yes, whatever I need to do, I want to support him. Like this is a message because. You were doing this like way before anyone else jumped on the wagon to do this. And I was just like, that needs to like, how do we amplify this voice? Whatever I need to do. I go watch, Dipper perform. That's when we met up at like bars and like, because I was like, whatever I need to do to amplify this voice, it's going to like just help this community. Like this is the world. We need people like him doing this, doing the work. Do you
regret it now?
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
No, I used to go to Dipper's concerts, little shows too. Your little skit.
The way you
used to let you see your little skit.
That delivery was
your little shows. I bought a tank top. I helped pay your rent for once.
I still got Big Dipper stickers all over like my house. Like my sister got some. We like put them on something. I was like, yes, amplify that. Put it on thing. Yeah.
I just this past week got contacted about doing a live show, and I'm very excited. It has been the last time I performed music was February 15th of 2020 in New York. I played a show at Rock Bar, and I haven't done anything since, and it just feels crazy. So I would be very excited to get back to it because I really miss putting on a show like that.
Yes, bitch.
Yes. Bitch.
Yes.
Okay, well,
now,
Harvey,
so you're... Oh, what? I was going to move on to the next segment, but...
Oh, yeah. I think we did. If you've been paying attention, Harvey's been very curvatory about all the
I have been paying attention.
Things.
But can we make him listen to a voicemail?
Yeah, we can do that.
What voicemail?
Well, our final segment is called Fuck Talk,
where we make our guests tell us an uncomfortable sex story, but we don't want to do that to you because, you have an audience.
You seem like a professional. Literally last week I told a story about almost choking on a massive load of cum and having to like pound it out of my chest like that. So I don't know that you want to go all the way there with us. Here we go.
Hi, Meatball. Hi, Big Dipper.
Hello.
I just wanted to call to tell you my fuck story. I know that our collective tagline is I stayed, but I wanted to tell you about the one time your girl said hell no and I left.
Okay, I'm just pausing for a second to catch you up, Harvey. We had an iconic voicemail call in probably, I want to say 6 months ago.
Yeah,
maybe over a year ago. We were like in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
It was this insane story about hooking up with a guy like from Craigslist. And at every turn, it just looked bad. But the guy, the caller kept being like, well, I stayed. Because we've all had that hookup experience where you sort of like, you're like, it's this house, the one that like with the overgrown lawn and like the
it says do not enter in the front.
And you go like, I guess I'm going to go get my dick sucked. And you still knock on the door. It's like you constantly make these bad decisions.
You like walk in and all the doors are closed and the light is on at the end of the hallway. And you're like, I should leave, but I'm going to stay.
But I guess I'll stay. So this caller proceeded to tell us that he found a samurai sword under the
under the bed or something, and he was like, "Do you want to?" Anyway,
Anyways, he
that's the
stayed.
thing.
So we always say, "I stayed." So this is what she was referring to in the phone call. Let's continue.
So I'm talking to this guy. He lures me over on the promise that he has a cinnamon roll for me. Yes, shut up. I'm a fat bitch. I don't care. So here I go for my cinnamon roll. I get over there. He's completely high, completely drunk. I'm completely sober. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. So I'm like, oh, I should freshen up. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. So he points the way. I take off. Before I get to the bathroom, I look down the hall, this like completely dark hall, and there's a child, like a 4 or 5-year-old child, just standing there, not saying anything, just not moving, completely still. And I was like, I'm not about to deal with that, no. So I just ran to the bathroom, and I like sit on the toilet, because I gotta, and I just look over to the right, to the tub, and there's spaghetti in the tub. Okay, sure.
Not
sure.
No,
So,
get.
I finish my business, and I stand up, and as I'm like adjusting my clothes and everything, trying to, get cute again, I look over again to the bathtub, like, I know I didn't just see what I thought I just saw. And instead of glancing at spaghetti again, I am face to face with a fly trap, like the big piece of mine, a tape that just like hangs from the ceiling, and it is covered in flies, like completely black.
Mama gotta
At that
go.
point, I said, hell no. This little white man's dick is not going to be anywhere worth staying in this place and possibly catching who's knows what kind of diseases. So I left. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
But did they get the
glad
cinnamon
you
roll?
left.
Did she get the cinnamon roll on the way out?
Do you think he had spaghetti and then threw it up in the bathtub?
So many questions to me right now. Like, I feel like, first of all, that would have been a no, like, get out, like, like, what? No. And then also, is that child in danger? Like, it's like, why is that? Is it a ghost?
Yeah, I was like, it's ghost
Is it
child.
a ghost? Is
That
this
house
place
is
haunted?
haunted.
I would have wanted this conversation. They go back and say, "Hey, who was that kid? Kid, no one's lived here for 15
Oh my
years."
god.
There hasn't been a child here in 32 years.
Dun, dun, dun. And the spaghetti, and like also going back to the bathroom for the second time, which she had found that it was not spaghetti and it was probably blood. It was like a murder scene. I don't know.
Oh
Like,
my
this
That
sounds
is so weird.
Also, I love
Some
that she
people
was
choose
like,
to live there, keep their home in unique
disarray.
ways.
But
in
here's
disarray.
also another thing. I think this is just a memo for anybody who's trying to hook up when the world opens up again. At least tell the person that you've been drinking. You don't have to say, I'm wasted right now, but at least say like, oh, and just so you know, I've had a couple drinks, so that maybe they could meet you at that level or something when they get there, or choose not to go. But I think it's really messed up to invite someone. This is not even for hookups. This is for going out. This is for showing up at events.
This
If you're
is
going to
just
show
in
up
general.
drunker than your friend, you got to let them know.
Yes.
catch up or know what level you're going to be at.
Yeah.
So, like, we're already here. You can, yeah. That sounds like a crazy already.
I
I love that they were in the bathroom adjusting their clothes, like, try to look cute because this is
Girl, I am proud that she left. That's all I gotta say. Good for her.
Good for her, mama.
Well, listen, we've made it to the end of the show, Harvey. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks so much for having
this
us.
has been
was
so
wonderful.
fun.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me in Toronto. No, social media, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, just Harvey Guillen, my full name, at Harvey Guillen.
And you can watch
What We Do in the Shadows.
You can watch Zoe's
You can watch
Extraordinary
Zoe's.
Playlist.
Oh, it's so good.
It's great. You can watch Zoe's on NBC, or you can watch it on Hulu, and you can watch What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu as well, or FX if you have it.
Look at that. And do you have a go-to tap dance number?
Shuffle Up to Buffalo.
Honey.
Okay, mama. And now you do that to Thoroughly Modern Millie.
Amazing. Well, listen, thank you so much. Meatball, you want to take us out?
Yes, I will. Thanks so much for listening to Sloppy Seconds. You can follow us on Instagram at SloppyPod. You can send us email to sloppysecondspod@gmail.com. Or follow us
send us spaghetti pictures. I'm
Send
just
us
kidding.
pictures of your spaghetti and meatballs.
Everyone, throw your spaghetti and meatballs in the bathtub and send us a photo, and we'll send you a free t-shirt.
And then try to stomp it down the drain. Okay. Then call with your fuck talk story to 213-536-9180. You can follow us on Instagram at Big Dipper Jelly or Spiciest Meatball, and I am Fat Drag Meatball on Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't ever miss an episode, which will come out every Tuesday and Friday.
We did it.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Doodle-doo-doo, forever dog. To listen to Sloppy Seconds ad-free and 1 day early, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus.
Sloppy Seconds is produced by Forever Dog and Moguls of Media, a.k.a. Mom.
Hosted by Big Dipper and Meatball, music, editing, and sound design by William Pitt.
Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Joe Cilio, Brett Boehm, and Alex Ramsey.
Our artwork was drawn by Christian Cimarroni.
And our theme song was written by Mike Malarkey.